Excuse me.
Jaya Row, please accompany Chief Guest DGN 1516 Subhash Ji Kulkarni on the dais. Also requested to please accompany our keynote speaker, Mr. Jaya Row, on the dais. I request him to please invite Avenue Chair Ajay Jalani on the dais. Thank you. I call the meeting to order. I invite Rajul Parekh, Shilpa Vora, Jayashree Shinoy, Jayashree Dave to please lead us for the national anthem. Thank you very much.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल चलति तरंगा विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय जय जय
Good evening, friends. On behalf of Rotary Club of the Peninsula, the lead host, and on behalf of all the presidents of all the course clubs, I extend a warm welcome to all of you and to this dismissive seminar on values and ethics. This topic is very close to the heart of every Rotarian because it covers the four-way test of Rotary. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all? We would like to recognize presence of various district functionaries, PDGs at this program. I request all the PDGs present and all the district functionaries present to kindly rise to be recognized. We have a lot of people from the district over here. I thank the presidents of all the co-host clubs for coming together early this year for this seminar. I express thanks to First Lady Governor Lata for giving us a chance to host this seminar in South Bombay at the beginning of the year. In the backdrop of the situation which we face today in the country, where every inquiry leads to some scam or the other, today's subject is of topical interest. What are values and ethics? What is the meaning of these things? Values are important and enduring beliefs, ideals, shared by members of a culture as to what is right, what is wrong, what is good and desirable, and what is not. Values exert major influence on the behavior of an individual and serve as a broad guideline in all situations. It is in the mind and reflects in day-to-day action. Various words describe components of the value system like honesty, integrity, loyalty, commitment, character, morality, tolerance, compassion, love. As Marcus Aurelius said, your life becomes what you think. Ethics comprise of what actions are right and what are not. It is linked more to action. They are either self-imposed or externally imposed and adopted. In some situations, they are codified and the rules explicitly are adopted by a group of people. Action indeed is the sole medium of expression of ethics. In the words of Albert Schweitzer, ethics is the activity of man directed to secure the inner perfection of his own personality. Friends, let's get on with the seminar. I'd like to introduce to you our District Avenue Chair, Ajay Shalani, who heads the Avenue Chair for Vocational Services. He is a Rotarian for the last 10 years, member of Rotary Club of Mumbai. He was president in 2004-05, a multi-PHF. He works for a multinational company handling warehousing management. His wife Monica is a PhD and professor at the Management College, Vashi. Daughter Maharika supports the family in love. He has held various district positions. He's been a TRF co-chair last year and handled the discount during Rajiv Subramanian's term. He has come with Sri Vipin Jain, who is the CEO of Logcash India, a company which stuffs all the cash into all the ATMs of the banks. May we have can we request Vipin Jain to kindly rise to be recognized? Thank you very much. May I request Avenue Chair Ajay Shalani to speak a few words on the topic and introduce the DG to the Chief Guest for the day.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, my Rotary friends, District Governor Nominee Kulkarni sir. It is indeed a great pleasure and a privilege for me to hear among all of us, all of you, and to attend this seminar on a sensitive yet a pertinent issue today, the value of ethics. First of all, what do we understand by ethics? Author Stewart says, ethics is knowing the difference between what you have right to do and what is right to do. Ethics is not about our legal rights or our entitlements. Ethics is about morals, about our values which define who we are. For instance, a doctor has a right to refuse to attend to a patient when he is on leave. But his moral commitment to his work, his sense of duty, responsibility, and ethics will urge him to do what he believes is right. I am very glad that Rotary Club of Bombay Peninsula and Rotary Club of Bombay North, Bombay Pier, Bombay Seafares, Cuff Parade, Downtown and Sea has taken the initiative to organize this seminar because I strongly believe that we can make a difference at an individual level, at a corporate level, and through Rotary at a global level. Let me now take this opportunity to introduce our chief guest for today, Rotarian Subhash Kulkarni, DGN 1516, born in the family of educationists, freedom fighter, and social workers. Subhash hails from Rajapur, concerned for the community and social issues, upholding the moral values and culture, and more importantly, a clear vision has been his legacy. With a BSc from Mumbai University, followed by a degree in law and a diploma in advertising and journalism, Subhash has worked in the field of journalism and advertising since past 30 years. After the initial assignment with the Commerce and the Financial Weekly from Mumbai, Subhash moved to Saudi Arabia and a long stint in the Middle East region. He worked as a features editor with Arab News and was felicitated for the outstanding editorial performance at an international conference in Cairo during 1988. He has traveled extensively to Middle East countries, Africa, Far East and Europe on various assignments. After returning to India, Subhash launched his own firm, Media Research and Marketing, which is engaged in the field of publishing, media promotion, digital printing and allied activities. He joined Rotary Club of Mumbai, Paleshwar in year 1999-2000 and was chosen to be a president of club during the Rotary Seminar year 4 and 5, where he had a very successful tenure. He has been actively involved with the Rotary at the district level since 2006 and has brought about many radical innovations and proved his leadership quality and dynamism in the last few years. Whether it was Disha, the district trust area, Mr. Subhash was the Avenue Chair, or the district secretary, publication, or even Asmita or Love Prerna, his efforts and contributions were highly appreciated. Subhash led the youth development program team Youth Shakti as the evening chair, and the year saw 90 Railas and a basket full of other youth program organized. As an evening chair for Rotary Foundation promotion, he brought about excellent result on DRF support. For the first time, 100% club contributed, and there was a collection in excess of USD 600,000 in annual program fund. In 11-12, Subhash worked as Assistant Governor looking after 7,000 western suburbs. In November 2012, Subhash was nominated District Governor nominee for 15-16. He is a recipient of several awards and has been felicitated on a number of occasions and is a multiple organized fellow. Apart from Rotary, Subhash has been closely associated with several other NGOs and other organizations. He is happily married to Swati, who is a commercial artist from JJ School of Art, Mumbai, and has been actively pursuing her profession through her own designing and art production unit, creative workshop, besides being actively involved in Rotary herself. The couple is blessed with 2 children. Son Pinak has done MBA, and the daughter Janvi is pursuing her MBA at MIT. Both the children have been active workers, have been traveling to Germany and France on RYE program during 6 and 7. Subhash also happens to be a keen sport lover and a tracker, and has been practicing yoga since past 2 decades. It is indeed an honor and have such an enterprising person among us. Let me now request Rotary Subhash to say something words.
Thank you, Ajay ji, for that. You have known me long enough. You could have done it even without a piece of paper. Thank you so much. You are very kind. Convener Jaya, Post-Club President Pankaj, our keynote speaker for this evening, Jaya ji, Avenue Chair Ajay, my wife and First Lady designate 15-16, and she has been recognized many times, Swati, and all my Rotary friends, the co-host presidents who are here. Good evening to all of you. Well, first of all, I must thank you all that you have thought of me as to be a chief guest for this wonderful function. Well, we know that we are very anxious to listen to our keynote speaker. She's going to speak on inspired living. And obviously that's, first of all, my time has been restricted to only a few minutes. I won't tell you how many. But I would say today, I'll just maybe share a passing thought, I would say. I mean, I would have loved, in fact, wherever, particularly in Rotary gatherings, I've seen that I see remarkably good crowd, good attendance in anything on values and ethics. I think that proves one point, that we are very much guided by that sacred document, 4-way test, where we talk about truth and fair and being beneficial and promoting peace and goodwill. So every time I have been to a seminar on values and ethics, so I must congratulate the host clubs here who have managed to get, how many, about 200 people now? About 200 people at this weekday early evening to really share some thoughts which we will soon follow from our keynote speaker. Well, as Ajay mentioned, obviously, you know, I mean, when I look at this word value or ethics, or evaluation for that sake, or creating value, or values, you know, I mean, all the derivations and adaptations of this particular word, I think they all speak, or they are revolving around something which I think largely speaks about an importance or a merit of something. Probably these are our fundamental beliefs as an individual, as a family, or as a community, or as a country, which help us to determine the merit of a particular thing. Let it be a piece of property or an individual. Of course, today we are talking about individuals. Individuals, people. People as individuals, people as family, people as community, and people as country. or people all over the globe. I feel that value is something, ethics is about actions, as I said earlier. Anything which, once we have set principles, set parameters, set standards of determining a merit, in terms of whether it's right or wrong, whether it's just and fair, whether it's correct or incorrect, or appropriate or inappropriate. That is what value speaks about. And ethics is about behaving a value-based behavior, following a value-based behavior. So when we say that a person is behaving ethically, which means largely that his behavior is consistent with the set guidelines. Individually, as we know that, when we say is a person is a valued person, what does it mean? I mean, that person, okay, the person can be sincere, the person is committed, the person is dedicated, the person is responsible, the person is dependent. These are individual values. When we talk about family, I think there are cultural values of the family beliefs or even the codes for dressing and behaving as a family, respecting, sharing compassion with everyone in the family, respecting elders, looking back at my own journey through life. I think that can probably give you some little light as to what a value can mean to a person. As Ajay read briefly, I was brought up in a family where 90% of my elderlies were teachers, primary teachers, high school teachers, college professors, principals, selfless teachers, dedicated teachers. I think a rare commodity even in the education industry, what we call it today. They have taught people from all castes and all creeds without even taking a penny from them. I had several people in my family who wore only khadi and khadi. And they kept telling us, reminding us that by wearing khadi, you are helping somebody get a piece of employment or some piece of work in our own country. We have seen people in our family, I am just referring to my family, where people have helped people when they did not have enough money in their own pockets. Today, if I have a lakh of rupees in my pocket and if I give away 1,000 rupees, I am called a philanthropist. But when you don't have money in your own pocket and if you are doing something for somebody, what we call it? That's a question. I think if I have really reached from nowhere to this podium, addressing you as an incoming leader of this prestigious district, I think it's only because of the values which were inculcated in us. Importance of education, importance of behaving in a family, importance of behaving or approaching anywhere in the community, treating the country. Gone are the days when we had sons like Ram, who sacrificed maybe 14 years of their lives to address or to keep a promise which his father made to somebody. Gone are even the days when disciples like Eklavya could give out his thumb just in a fraction of a second when his guru asked for it. Also gone are the days when people of India were driven by a passion, a single goal, that they wanted to see their motherland free from alien rule. Today, 60 years down the line, and I still feel that on one side we are talking about India is shining. On the other side, I feel that we are still struggling to consolidate our identity as people of India, people of India. We had a thrust area a couple of years back called Asmita, self-esteem. I think that was one thing which, I feel that a lot can be done on this particular thing. Today I feel that creation of value in the individuals of all segments, all ages, whether they are the students, whether they are the literate or illiterate people, I think creation of value is not necessarily restricted to studying the textbooks. Creation of value is something which we need to train, we need to educate, we need to enlighten our own people today in putting them on the right path as to decide as to what is right and what is not right. We have to make them think that it is not everything about self what people seem to be believing today. Everything seems to be surrounding around self. I think we have to look beyond self, we have to look beyond, even though we don't have a struggle to fight today to free our homeland, but I'm sure there are many, many issues we need to address. And this can be done only through a sustained interaction, a sustained movement to tell people. In fact, I feel that, I was just talking with Pankaj just a while ago, that we should not restrict our interactions at this seminars level, but we have to take them forward to schools, to various levels, whereby we can really, we have, for example, when we look at Japanese people, 1945 onwards, 60, 65 years down the line, they have really, in fact, Sakuji Tanaka, our outgoing RI president and past RI president, he was here in Mumbai recently, he said that in 1945, when he was a young child, the Japanese, they decided that if we have to come up, it's only peace through prosperity. And they have followed, and we can see that Japanese are exemplifying their country. Japanese as people who are respected around the world. I think we have a lot we can do about it. And I must conclude here because I know that I think time is more or less up. Mahatma Gandhi once said, you see, our leader Mahatma Gandhi once said, the greatness and the future of a country can only be judged by the way their people behave. And I think this it means a lot for us. Well, we as Rotarians, I know that we are absolutely guided by the four witnesses. So I think it should be more of non-Rotarians who should be here to really share our thoughts, because I believe that we are the custodians of being true, being fair, being, to be beneficial to everybody. Anyway, thank you so much. I would never say thank you so much.
Thank you, Subhash. I request Himansha to kindly come forward and introduce the speaker for the day, Mrs. Jaya Row.
Good evening and a warm welcome to all of you and our guest speaker, Mrs. Jaya Row. Mrs. Jaya Row is the founder of Vedanta Vision, and she has been researching and lecturing on Vedanta for more than 40 years. Vedanta is the ancient Indian philosophy of the Vedas and is a universal knowledge system with no religious views or cultural boundaries. Mrs. Rao has a rare gift bestowed upon her to connect with and address people from varied walks of life, from CEOs, corporate executives, entrepreneurs, and university students. Apart from her extremely popular discourses in India, Mrs. Rao is a well-loved speaker in the United States, UK, Australia, and many other countries. She has also been invited to prestigious organizations including the World Economic Forum, Davos, the World Bank, and the Young Presidents Organization. She has received recognition at several corporate powerhouses such as Tata's, Unicum Laboratories, Taj Hotel Resorts and Palaces, HDFC, Shell UK, Coca-Cola Headquarters Atlanta, and Students' Universities at Washington and Purdue. Her lectures are telecasted on television, and you can stream her on YouTube too. She challenges people to look beyond the mundane and secular, and peppers her discourses with apt examples, which makes it easy to understand, retain, and apply Vedanta in everyday life. Shraddha, Shravan, and Manan are the elements of her discourses. So friends, please welcome Mrs. Jaya Row.
Thank you. The topic for today is ethics and values. When you speak of ethics and values, it sounds very boring. everyone speaks about it, hardly anyone lives it. Why is this? Because we don't associate it with enthusiasm, with energy, with creativity, with excitement, with living. What we don't realize is that without these values and ethics, what I call as inspiration, you merely exist, you don't really live. Take a look at life today. We have the most amazing technology available to us. We have exotic locations to vacation in. We have information at the click of a mouse. We have everything. We have food from across the world available to us right here. Yet, you hardly find anyone who is excited about life. From a 5-year-old kid who wakes up bleary-eyed on a Monday morning and says, I don't want to go to school, to directors of companies who wake up and say, I don't want to go to work, nobody is excited about life. Yet, there was a time in this wonderful country of ours where generations of youngsters were brought up on a diet of inspiration. From bedtime stories to real-life models, role models, they were inspired. And they achieved the golden era of immense success and prosperity, where they said the streets were lined with gold. And that actually paved the way for invaders to come. First they came as traders, and then they realized that they really don't have to pay for what they're taking. So they became invaders. And over time they realized that the Indians had something that you could not steal, and that is values. The day we lost our values, we lost everything. And today we are on this downward spiral. I often tell the youngsters, when I speak to the young, I said, our generation has messed things up in this country. It's for the young. It's for the students of today. For them to correct what we have messed up. So, let's take a look at inspiration. Is inspiration a choice, a luxury that few of us can afford, or is it imperative to life? What do you think? Imperative. It's no longer a choice. From the richest to the poorest, from the oldest to the youngest, we desperately need inspiration. Now, before we get on to actual inspiration, let's take a look at what happens when you live an uninspired life. What happens is, by default, your thoughts gravitate towards just yourself. Now, you might say, what's wrong with thought of self? Thought of self is the greatest barrier to success. The Bhagavad Gita says it, and you don't want to listen to it. But now I'm telling you the example of a movie called The Legend of Bhagavans. A movie, not a Bollywood movie, but a Hollywood movie, made by Robert Redford. And it speaks of a golfer in the 1930s. He was a brilliant golfer, but met with some personal problems and gave up golf and took the easy way out, started drinking. And then there was a competition announced between the northern and the southern states of America. In those days, there was bitter rivalry between them. And his people, the people of Savannah, went to him and said, you must come back and play in that tournament because you're the only one who can redeem our honor. There was a little boy who absolutely adored this golfer. He agreed. But it was easier said than done. He was drinking so hard he could barely see the ball. And at that time, once when he was practicing his shots, Will Smith came out of the darkness and offered to be his caddy. And that caddy's name was Bhagavans. That's the name of the movie, The Legend of Bhagavans. Does it ring a bell? No? It will when I tell you the golfer's name. The golfer's name is Ranolf Jr. He was called Arjuna for short. Ring a bell? Arjuna. Bhagavans? Bhagavan. I'm not imagining it. Robert Redford says the movie is based on a book written by another American called Gita on the Green. You do a search on Amazon, you'll find it. Amazing, isn't it? That an American writes a book called Gita on the Green and another American makes a movie of it. But that apart, the caddy is the guru, Bhagavans, and the golfer is the disciple. And as he's playing so miserably that when he goes and asks the caddy, what club do I play with? He says, it doesn't matter what club you pick because you're playing so badly, it really doesn't matter. And then he calls him and says, look, there's a perfect shot waiting out there, waiting for you to find it. All you've got to do is get yourself out of the way. When I heard that, it transformed me. Because the truth is, the moment you think of yourself, you spoil it all. Whether it's a lady cooking a meal for guests that she wants to impress, or a student who is given a mic to speak to an audience for the first time, or a girl who is made to sing before an audience. Otherwise, you do brilliantly. But when the thought of self comes, when you want to impress your guests, when you want to impress your audience, when the thought shifts from the job at hand to yourself, you spoil it. And all of us are steeped in this thought of self. From the time you wake up till the time you go to sleep, from birth to death, you are constantly thinking of yourself. And therefore, nobody comes up with anything but mediocrity. You get flashes of brilliance, yes. And when you meet with failure, you attribute that failure to the government, you attribute it to your boss, you attribute it to your wife or husband, you attribute it to everybody except yourself. And the worst is, then you go to an astrologer. Then you know the decline is complete. So, when your thought revolves around yourself, you develop a myopic vision. You can't see anything beyond the next weekend getaway, the next movie to watch, the next vacation to go on. What a disgusting life to live. And then what happens is your world shrinks. Have you seen the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? A scientist by mistake shrinks his own kids to about this high. And then every little thing becomes an issue. So it's not because the brain by itself is a problem. It's because the kids have shrunk that it becomes a problem. It's the same thing with us. When your mind shrinks, every little thing becomes a problem. Your mind expands. You develop the power to stand up to the world and its challenges. And then, unfortunately, you take the stand, it's my way or the highway. And this is what leads to extreme loneliness, breakup of relationships. And loneliness is supposed to be as deadly as alcoholism or chain smoking. You don't realize that. You get lulled into the belief that you have friends. You don't have friends. You're just hanging around people. Youngsters use the right term. You ask them, what are you doing? I'm hanging out. Hanging out is right. So, when you're uninspired, you develop a closed mind. You're allergic to suggestions. You would rather suffer than admit even to yourself that you could do with a little help. That's an egoistic concept. And then you commit deadly mistakes and you're unsuccessful. So, the The worst thing that happens when you're not inspired is that you believe you're fighting a war with the whole world. It's you versus the universe. And then you're fighting imaginary enemies. You look upon your own benefactors as enemies. You look upon partners as opponents. And then you're consumed by hatred. And that leads to destruction. So thought of self is the most corrosive, most destructive, most debilitating force in the universe. It's like seawater. I don't know how many of you remember, just off Napier Road, just off the coast there. A few years ago, there was a ship that got shipwrecked. Tons and tons of steel, within a few years, just dissolved in the sea. This is the corrosive effect of selfishness. It just eats you up, consumes you. So therefore, you need to be inspired with higher values. Now when you say inspired, and you have fixed a higher goal for yourself, you remember one thing, you're not doing anybody a favor. The world doesn't need your service. I know I'm addressing service organization. But the fundamental thing you must remember before you so much as even embark on service is to remember that nobody needs your service. Therefore, you must humble yourself and say, when you do service, say, thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity to serve you. It's not as if, I chuck largesse on people with the belief that I'm doing them a great favor. The world doesn't need your service. Whoever created the world is more than capable of looking after the world. Remember that. But you need to do service. All of us need to do service for our sheer survival. If you want to be successful, you have to do service. If you want to be happy, you must be unselfish. If you want to grow into a towering personality, you must look beyond yourself. Otherwise, you remain as pygmies, dwarfs. So, what is inspiration? Most of us around the world today are body worshippers. It's all about how do I look. Hardly anyone looks beyond that. And it's not even about how do you look in the living part of you. People are obsessed with hair and nails, the dead part of you. Therefore, the lady told me the other day, I don't go out in the monsoon because my hair curls up. That's ridiculous. Who cares what your hair is like? People care about what you think, what's inside of you. So, look beyond the body. As long as you are body-centric, you will lead boring, monotonous drudgery. And that is our life. Therefore, you're constantly looking for entertainment because you're bored with yourself. If you're exhilarated with yourself, why would you want entertainment from outside? You're self-entertained. Find emotional motivation. Do you have, when you wake up every morning, are you inspired to work emotionally for someone else? Then you come up with magical performance. When Sachin Tendulkar played in 99, I think, World Cup in England, are there any cricket enthusiasts here? Something happened in his life. His father passed away. And he came back to Mumbai. He did what he had to do as a son. And he chose almost immediately to go and rejoin his team. And the first match he played was, he scored 140 brilliant runs. Something he doesn't do even now. What made the difference? Remember, here was a man who was jet-lagged, tired, heart broken, in grief, and in no mood to play cricket. Yet he did it and came up with a magnificent performance. And I'm not imagining it. He said it himself. I dedicate this innings to my father. Rise above the emotion and find an intellectual ideal There are, Swami Ramatirtha 100 years ago said, in India, you must be grateful that there is no shortage of causes to work for. Find a cause. Something beyond your selfish, self-centered interests. And then you break free from your physical and emotional limitations and come up with magical performance. You achieve wonderful results. I was brought up, like many of you, in an environment of shortages in India. When we were young, everything was rationed. Rice was rationed, wheat was rationed, sugar was rationed, milk was rationed. Everything except human beings was in short supply. Today's generation probably doesn't even know the spelling of rationing. They don't know what it is. At that time, there was one man who appeared on the scene who, instead of thinking like us, how do I scramble up the corporate ladder, whichever ladder you're desperately trying to climb, thought in terms of how can I use my expertise, my knowledge to help the situation out there. And that man was Dr. Ravi's Korea. One man came up with one creative idea, and that one man helped change the face of India from that of a land of dire milk shortage to the largest producer of milk in the world today. This is the power of unselfishness. So, don't worry about getting one more degree from Harvard or Wharton or wherever. Don't worry about your IQ. Don't worry about anything else. Why? Because the most successful people in the world today are school dropouts. I'm not suggesting you should drop out. So the world doesn't need extraordinary people. The world simply needs ordinary people like you. I assume you are ordinary like me, with extraordinary motivation. Where is that extraordinary motivation? Do you wake up inspired? You wake up saying, what's for breakfast? And then what's for lunch? And what's for dinner? And nashta, that is. Somebody asked me the other day, I've been traveling for the last 3 months. What is the national hobby in India? You know what I said? Eating. Food. So, go beyond that to finding spiritual inspiration. And you break through all kinds of barriers. So, let's take a look at what happens when you have an emotional motivation. You find new energy source within yourself. You rise above the limitations of the body and you disable your physical likes and dislikes. You know, there was a man in Boston, couple. When their son was born, they were horrified when the doctors told them that he is so badly handicapped, it would have been better if he had died. But the parents were determined to give him as normal as life as possible. So they trained him to communicate. He couldn't speak, but he could think. To communicate through a laptop and sent him to an ordinary school. One day when the other kids were running, he typed on his computer, "I wish I could run." Those words changed the father. That father, who was not athletic, who had never run in his life, now started running with this son on his back, piggyback, to give the son the experience of running. And you know what? He didn't just run. He ran and won the Boston Marathon, he won triathlons, he won all kinds of races. Because he had this emotional motivation to enable his son to experience the joy of running. Simple. Now you don't have to have a handicapped child, you don't have to have a red father like Sachin Tendulkar, but you can find emotional motivation. Feel for somebody, for God's sake. And then you'll find joy in life. Intellectual conviction. You find still higher energy levels. You rise above restrictions of both the body and the mind, and you overcome physical and emotional hang-ups. What I mean by emotional hang-up is you are then able to work with people you dislike when you have an intellectual idea. Take for instance the Wright brothers. They had a dream that it was possible to fly across the Atlantic. They were not engineers, they didn't have financial backing, they had nothing going for them except this dream, this conviction that it is possible. And by God, they did it. If a few of us have the conviction, everywhere in the world people tell me, what is wrong with India? You have such outstandingly intelligent people, you have such skilled people, you have a great base of English-speaking people, you have so many advantages. Why is it that India just sputters and then goes out of steam? Rupee gets strong, again down. And it goes up a little bit, again down. So our flying is like a chicken fly. Now a chicken flies makes more noise and goes and then down. That's India. Why? Because no one has an intellectual idea. No one has this concept that I must work for something beyond myself. Look at Al Gore. When he ran for President of the United States, the press nicknamed him Al Gore because they thought he was boring. And he lost. But the moment he started working for the environment beyond his selfish interests, no one thought him boring. One year when I was in the US, I suddenly found Al Gore on every major American channel, prime time. What was the difference? Earlier he worked for himself, now he was working for the environment. And he won the Nobel Prize. So look beyond, find intellectual motivation. And you'll achieve the impossible. Spiritual inspiration is the highest. You find the highest energy source within you, no obstacles come in your way, and you find infinite resources and power within you. And the interesting thing is, you don't have to do anything. Things get done for you. Take examples. Surdas was born blind, but his blindness didn't come in the way of his enlightenment. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was illiterate, but he taught Swami Vivekananda the highest truth. Mirabai was given poison, and that poison turned to nectar. Now when you read all these stories, it seems like myths. It's not a myth, friends. When you apply it in your life, even to a small extent, you find it works. How does poison become nectar? Dr. Viktor Frankl, psychiatrist and survivor of one of the worst concentration camps during the Second World War, said that it's not just physical torture that they subjected them to, the prisoners. They gave mental abuse. So the guards would abuse them and destroy their spirit. So he devised a method. Said, here are the guards who are giving me poison, who are abusing me. What are they saying? He said, they are just arranging the letters of the alphabet in a particular way. I have the choice of rearranging those alphabets. And that's how he decided to. That's how poison turned to nectar. So stop complaining, friends. Yesterday a lady told me, but my mother-in-law is so nasty. And I feel like being nasty with her. And I told her, even if it is true that she's nasty, you can rearrange. The poison that comes to you, you can turn to nectar. So don't think of this as just mere myth and stories. When you apply it to your own life, you achieve it. And how much strength it gives you. And the moment the other person understands that they don't have the power to affect you, to disturb you, they run out of steam. What happens is, by succumbing to it, by getting affected, you are giving power to the other person to bully you. Have you seen in schools? There's one bully in a class. Who does that bad bully? Weak people. If there's another strong person, he leaves that strong person alone. So what Vedanta says is develop this internal strength. Become strong within you. The moment you stand up to it, the challenges disappear. You know, when Swami Vivekananda had gone to Banaras, most of these places are full of monkeys. So apparently a group of monkeys was chasing him and he was running away from the monkeys. And as the sadhu sitting by the roadside said, face the brutes. He was scared. He said, what if the monkeys attack me? He said, no, face the brutes. So eventually he plucked up enough courage. He just turned around and looked at the monkeys. They ran away. So monkeys can run away, what will happen to human beings? So this is spiritual inspiration. There's a verse in Sanskrit which says, Mukam karoti vachalam pangum translate. It has the power to make a mute person speak eloquently, a lame person to climb Mount Everest. That power resides within each one of us. Tap into it. Don't waste it. So just stop complaining about the world. That's all that you have to do. Save your energy. So for that, what must you do? Expand your mind. How do you expand your mind? The default setting in your mind must be after you. When you meet anyone, when you do anything, whatever your interactions are with the world, the first and last thought in your mind should be, how can I add value to you? How can I make your life better? Precedence must always be given to the other person. Be saved. You say, what can I do for you? But everybody understands what you mean is, what can I grab from you? Because you won't even meet a person unless you have some profit in mind, some benefit in mind. You know, in the world now, we've reached such depths, that even if you work with the spirit of giving, they say, "Dal mein kuch kala hai." Maybe the person wants something. Suspicious. You don't want to even accept that there could be goodness in the world. Fix a higher goal. What are you working for? What are you living for? Because a paycheck, profit, that's it. Paycheck, profit is something that comes as a byproduct. How can you make a byproduct? You know what a byproduct is? Something that the waste that comes out of a factory is what you're working for. Look for something beyond. The moment you fix a higher idea, you're excited, you're enthusiastic, you're creative, innovative. This idea must be instilled in childhood. You'll be amazed how much a child picks up. Subtle things a child picks up. Alphabet and ABCD, what you teach in school, that takes time. Unselfishness, inspiration is something a child picks up. Not what you say, but what you live. Love others. We are strongly entrenched in feelings of separateness. The moment you meet someone, first thing you do is size the person up and say, oh, you are different from me. And all your interactions are based on that. So, what happens? You feel insecure, you feel threatened, and you lash out at other people even before your interaction starts. You watch what happens at parties, sarcastic remarks, barbs, thrown at people that you don't even know. Why? Insecurity. So you're so insecure that you must hurt someone and harm someone to feel good. That is the psychology. So therefore change that and then think beyond the universe. When was the last time you looked at the sunset, just here, of Marine Drive, and admired it? When was the last time you heard a bird sing? When was the last time you marveled at a fruit or a flower, at a mango? You had the mango season, right? All we've done is eat mangoes. How many of you have marveled at it? What fantastic shape, what texture, what colors, what taste. You made it. The best food technologists in the world can't match this, can't create it. These moments of wonderment connect you with the spirit. Don't let go of it. Every one of us is capable of it. But I find on Marine Drive every morning, Satvik time, people come and they're talking about the price of share market. You have the whole day to discuss money. Savor these few moments. And give time to yourself. You owe it to yourself to give yourself time to reflect, to just be with yourself. But we don't want that. And technology is profiting from it. Haven't you seen people in trains, in planes, even if they're alone, they pick up their cell phones, it beeps anyway if there's a message or a call. Is there a message from? If there is no message, why is there no message? Then you message. If there is no incoming call, then you have to call. Let go, relax, think. So, then recharge your battery. You recharge your cell phones every day. It doesn't occur to any of us that the mind needs recharging. This is done through study of the scriptures, study of highly inspiring, uplifting ideas, energizing ideas. Reflection on this study during the day. Think over it. And apply it in your life. Test it out. Experiment with it. Vedanta is a science. It's not history. Science you can't learn by just reading books. What must you do? Try it out, experiment with it in the lab, see it for yourself, then you cultivate positive emotions. The best way of cultivating positive emotions is to expose yourself to uplifting music. When I say uplifting music, I'm not talking about Bollywood. I have nothing against it, but it's not uplifting. When we were young, you see the problem is subtlety. Classical living, classical literature, classical music is not available, even if somebody is interested. But it is these that uplift your mind. Examine your emotions. Are you irritable, frustrated, snapping at people all the time? And there's something wrong with you. Hatred, wherever there is a dislike and hatred, just understand. Everyone functions according to the nature. Do you hate a lion for its ferocity? No. You travel thousands of miles to Kenya or South Africa, take pictures of a lion tearing a wildebeest to bits and come back and boast about it. Do you hate a deer for its timidity? When you go for a walk in the morning and a dog barks at you, do you turn around and say, "Stop barking at me, you know who I am"? You don't say that. Because you are established in the knowledge that a dog's nature is such that it must bark. The beauty of a dog is its barking. The beauty of a lion is its ferocity. The attraction of a deer is its timidity. But when it comes to human beings, you have no understanding of people's nature. And so you expect an aggressive person to be timid, you expect a timid child to stand up for himself. It's like expecting a lion to behave like a deer. So whose fault is it? And then you say, I hate those. Promote positive emotions and redirect them towards the higher. Then refine action. Identify your swadharma, means your talent, your expertise, your passion. Every one of us is born with a unique gift. Identify that. But we don't do that. Most of us live through our lives without so much as a glimpse of who we are and what wonderful things we bring to the world. Why? Because we are just obsessed with money. Where will I make money? We tell our children also, do an MBA because you can make money. Become a doctor so that you can make money. You're telling a guy to become a doctor and he has no interest in becoming a doctor. Fortunately, the present generation is not listening to the parents. They are pursuing their own passion. Then, fix a higher ideal in the area of your sadhana. A musician must perform for the sheer love of it. Don Bradman played cricket for the love of it, not for earnings, not for endorsements, and certainly not for match fixing. He worked dedicatedly. Swami Ramatirtha, one of the greatest proponents of Vedanta, more than 100 years ago, when he was lecturing in America, he was asked, what is your definition of rest? And he said, intense work is rest. What do we follow? Intense rest is work. Action, when it is selfish, leads to mediocrity. Unselfish leads to success. Mozart, Ustad Bismillah Khan, who else? Rod Laver, all the greats in the world did not work for a personal benefit. They dedicated themselves to their fields, and that's what made for brilliance. The highest quality of action is selfless, where you understand that the gift that you have got is not your own, it's a God-given talent. And every time you work as thanksgiving, you offer that as thanksgiving to God. In the movie Chariots of Fire, the athlete said, God made me to run, and I will run for God. And by God, he won the Olympic gold. You know, you think of these and your hair stands on it if you're inspired. You just allow yourself. You must be immersed in the thought of the higher all the time. Soak in that thought. You don't get it by exposure once a year, once a week, once in a way. It's got to be constant. It's like, if you want to learn Italian, you don't learn Italian by attending Italian classes here once a week. What must you do? Take a flight, land in any place in Italy. Within a matter of a few days, you pick it up. I know by experience. I go to Italy every year. For 5 days. By the 5th day, I'm able to communicate with people in basics. Then I come home. I forget. Again I go, again I have to relearn. But if you stay there for some time, you'll pick it up. Similarly, soak yourself in the thought of the high. As they say, if you want to be an outstanding cricketer, must breathe cricket, dream cricket, sleep cricket. Everything must center around. Intellect must focus. Not scattered, but gathered thought. And all else must be in auto mode. See, once you have an ideal and you're working towards it, and your thoughts are unidirectional, then everything else must be as simple as possible. Like, Einstein had 4 identical suits in his wardrobe. Did you know that? You know why? Because every morning when he had to get dressed, he did not want to waste time thinking of what to wear. Amazing. And that is what led to his brilliance. You spend most of your time trying to decide what to wear. Not realizing it doesn't matter to anybody else. Because everyone is so obsessed with themselves, they don't have the time to think of what you're wearing. Mind must be in worshipful mode. You do your best, but you must understand the result is not your hand. It's not in your hands. Thy will be done, not my will. Love, why? Because love calms the mind. Love makes you happy and love gives success. Because everybody joins in. You know, we're running out of time and I hate crossing the time that's given. My time was already eaten into earlier. This mind must be detached. What is detachment? Not self-love. You know, all relationships that we have with people are based on self-love. So you really don't love the other person. You only love yourself. You say I love you because you cater to me in some way. And the moment the catering stops, the love also dries up. No return expected. You just give of yourself to a relationship. How wonderful it is. Lord, before a girl gets married, she has a list of expectations. And she says, I will change the fellow once I get married. She's doomed to failure. Because the last person on earth you can change is husband or wife. No demands made. You don't say, when are you taking me for a holiday to Singapore? No. And therefore no bondage imposed. The body must work tirelessly, energetically, enthusiastically, excitedly, but detachedly. Where does this detachment come from? Because you're working for something higher. So the lower doesn't affect you. Whether your name appears first or third doesn't matter to you. Whether you are elected president or not doesn't matter to you. All you're interested in is service. If you are not elected as president, so much the better. I can do more service. Once the Lions Club people invited me, there was bitter rivalry among two of the, I didn't know that, two contestants. And I said this, not knowing what's happening. I said, if you're not elected, it's best. Somebody asked me, do you want any position? No, I don't want positions. Because position imposes bondage. If you want to really serve, you must be free. Free-spirited service is the best service. And the result will be siddhim, success, sukham, happiness, param gatim, you reach to this, you evolve spiritually to the state of perfection. Now friends, this is our culture. Every one of us is heir to this knowledge. The scriptures refer to us as Amritasya Putra, children of immortality. So, we as Indians have a special responsibility to establish values that the world will emulate. Today, we are the scorn of the world as far as values and ethics goes. And often I hear this. It's all very well to hear your lectures, it's all very well to hear these ideas, but it's not possible to implement them. And the moment you carry that conviction, of course you're not going to do it. But start with little things. What are these little things? You jump a red light, you're caught by a cop. Go through the trouble of getting your license, having to go there, declaring yourself guilty, pay a fine and collect your license. Yes, it is much easier to slip some cash into his hands. But then, don't complain. Then you are party to the whole thing. Don't talk about scamsters, because if you are a scamster in a small way. So if each one of us makes an attempt to do it, it is possible. I'm saying it with supreme confidence and conviction because I've lived it. Even in my field, I run a charitable trust and there are all kinds of things happen with trusts. But I have resisted that temptation in all these years. Until the day I die, I will live up to it. And I have not suffered. I am not out on the streets. Yes, I may not be a millionaire, but that's okay. So, every step, if each one of us takes those baby steps, and each one of us makes an investment of our time and effort and money to establish these values, we will build a beautiful culture. That is our heritage. So friends, as far as we are concerned, we are doing our best. We have devised a program for school children, which we conduct not only in English for the affluent classes, but we have translated it into Hindi and Marathi, which is the language prevalent here. And we conduct it for slum children, municipal children, tribal and rural children, with amazing results. Because they are the ones who have this drive and determination to come out of their bad conditions. If you want to help us, please join in. Join us or enable us to join you with these educational programs, which are universal. We don't talk about any particular religion deliberately, because what matters is universal values, not isms. And our forthcoming event is on the 13th of July at Bharati Vidya Bhavan on stress. What is it? Goodbye stress, hello success. This is the title. 13th July, 6:30 to 8. Please take a note. We'll give you the invitation card. You can pick it up at the counter here. We have another one, those of you from the suburbs, on 27th July, the power of intention at Bhairas Auditorium in Juhu. We have weekly classes at Prempuri Ashram here and at Khar, and we are doing our best. So if you are interested, do come and attend these lectures. You will benefit enormously from it. Thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you, Mr. Jaya. It was excellent, really inspired us, brought out. We will take a few questions in case any people in the audience would like to ask. We'll take a couple of questions. Okay, we can take it later. Otherwise, may I request Brother Vesh to kindly come forward and present a memento to our speaker today.
Distinguished speaker meeting, memento presented by Rotary Club of Mumbai Peninsula, RTN Pankaj Vora, President, presented to Srimati Jaya Row.
We have 6 clubs who have come together for this event. That is the main reason for its success. I request the co-presidents of all the 6 clubs to kindly come forward and speak about your club, so what your club is doing. Please come forward. Mahendra Thakkar, Rotary Club Bombay North. I request Asif to please come forward. Jayashree Davi, Arjun Parekh, Jayashree Sharma, and Dr. Ashutosh Palin.
Good evening. I am Mahendra Thakkar from Rotary Club of Bombay North.
May I request members to kindly sit for a few more minutes?
We are a 51-year-old club with 76 members. We meet every Saturday at Wellington Club for morning breakfast meeting at 9 o'clock. And our flagship project is Teen Bank, which works for the Aerodynamic One Center. Thank you.
May I request Asif Fadili from Rotary Club Bombay here, kindly speak about his club.
Hello everyone. After listening to Mrs. Jaya Row, I'm speechless. I'm sure all of us here are saying, what an inspiring speech, man. Thank you very much. I'm Rotarian Asif Adiji, Ace President of Rotary Club of Bombay Pier. We are a 22-year-old club, chartered in 1992. Our membership strength is 79. We meet every Friday at MC Gear Hall at 7:30 p.m. Our flagship project is we have an office called the Dream Zone, as well as we regularly do the Raila, which is and the Mona. Raila is a superb event which I would request all clubs to come forward and participate. And really it's very, very successful. Each year we have about 250 to 275 road tractors and young people participating. It's a great event for all of you to participate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Asif. We request Jaya Row from Bombay CPS to kindly speak about the club.
Good evening, friends. I am Jayashree Dave from Bombay Rotary Club of Bombay CPS. We are 27 years old club. Chartered is in 1986. Our membership strength is 120. We meet every Saturday, IMC, 1 p.m. And our flagship projects are rainwater harvesting and Manor Adivasi School. Thank you.
Thank you, Jayashree. May I request Rajul Parekh from Mumbai Club Parade to kindly speak about the club.
Good evening, friends. I'm Rajul Parekh from the Cuff Parade, the Rotary Club of Mumbai Cuff Parade. Our club was chartered in 1991 and we enter our 23rd year. We have a strength of 58 members. We meet on Wednesdays at Samrat at 6:15 in the evening. And our flagship project is a global grant project with the Rotary Club of Rockville in Washington, D.C. And we will be building about 5 rainwater harvesting structures in the same village of Shilonda, where 150 Rotary Kutirs are going to be built. So that is our contribution to Lata's project.
Another announcement. At the District Shukriya on 29th of June, various clubs have been recognized by the district officials for their performance, whereas individuals from the clubs have been given awards. I'll just follow the names of 11 clubs whose awards are lying here, who probably could not collect there. If any member is there from each of these clubs, kindly have them collected so that you can give to your president. We have awards for Bombay Pier, Queen's Necklace, Peninsula, Bombay Central, Bombay Mid City, Hanging Garden, Sealand, Bombay North, Bombay Worli, Mumbai South, and Bombay Midtown. And members of any of these clubs, please collect awards. May I request Vikas Makaria, past president of our club, to kindly propose a vote of thanks for today.
Good evening, friends. Very short one since most of us are ready to go. Our keynote speaker, Jaya DGN, Presidents 1314, District Dignitaries, Rotarian and friends. This ethic seminar, it was the starting of the year. Let's see what more Pankaj and other presidents have in store for us. Thank you, Jaya for presenting us such a difficult point in topic in such simple and lucid language. And the PowerPoint presentation was really very nice. Appeal to all members, please, let's follow this ethic program. Let's not just listen to it and go home. Let's ensure that we practice it in our day-to-day lives. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Vikas. Now I request host club president Pankaj Vora to speak about his club and attend the meeting.
Jay, I was almost forgotten. ये छोटी छोटी बातें बड़े बड़े मीटिंग में होती रहती है. Ashutosh, please don't stand judging of our members. Jaya ji, DGN, Subhash ji, amazing seminar on values and ethics today. And as it says, position poisons everybody. Any takers from the president? This is one post where people are caught and put on the days. Thank you so much. Our club is, I'm Rotary Pankaj Vora, from President of Rotary Club of Bombay Peninsula, the host club today. And we are a 23-year-old club. Our charter, we are chartered in 1991. Our membership is 103 and we meet every Thursday at 6:15 Umang Hall, Hotel Samrat. Our flagship project is there. We are putting up a cataract and a glaucoma for the underprivileged masses at the BMCI hospital at Kamatipura. The project is about practically around 35 lakhs. And we expect to, we are doing a fundraising on the 11th of January next year. And we expect to garner about 1 crore rupees through the fundraiser. Thank you so very much. Statistics for the day: 144 members, 37 guests. I think around, not all the district officials have signed in, so but I think around 10 district officials. Meeting stands adjourned. Thank you so very much.